After such a long silence and only rumors and leaks to go on, Naughty Dog has finally spoken and revealed one of the projects that they have been working on since the release of The Last of Us Part 2. And of course, I'm talking about The Last of Us Part 1, a complete remake of the original, critically acclaimed PlayStation 3 swan song, The Last of Us. And this remake is being released on September 2nd of this year for the PS5, and it's also coming to PC. Dr. Pooplove here, and today I want to break down the trailer that we saw and Naughty Dog's blog post, which gives a lot of really interesting insights into how this game might be different from the original. And throughout, I want to ask a few interesting open questions that we really only have a few months left before they ultimately get answered. So let's get right into it. Obviously, the first thing to note in looking at this trailer is the graphical improvement. Everything looks even more beautiful than the original, and side by side, you can really tell. Although, if I'm gonna be real, the original is still pretty freaking beautiful. So certain shots and angles don't even look that different. But I do think that the finer details of this game being enhanced really does make a difference here. And that frame rate looks so buttery smooth. And although no gameplay was actually shown, you gotta imagine that's going to be so awesome with these visual enhancements. Another thing to note is that this footage at least seems to portray that this remake is going to be pretty faithful to the original, with scenes playing pretty much beat by beat the same. Even during the actual reveal at Summer Games Fest, Neil Druckman talked about that they didn't bring the actors back for reshoots. They used the original mocap footage and used upgraded technology to capture and enhance the same things. And we also see that the prequel Left Behind DLC is also going to be a part of this package. We also have learned that this game has been rebuilt from the ground up for PS5. So unfortunately, I do not think it's going to come to the PS4, at least not at first. Although I imagine it would probably be able to run on a PS4 unless they added anything crazy substantial to the game, but what do I know? The other interesting thing is that this is also being planned for PC, which I believe will be huge as God of War and other PC ports have done really well, and it seems to make Sony's big PC revenue projection makes some sense. We also get some pretty substantial new information that comes directly from Naughty Dog's latest blog post. This game will be starting at $70, which is honestly really steep, considering this does not include a remake of the multiplayer, which instead will be its own standalone title. Even though the base version also includes the prequel DLC, I find it a bit hard to justify that price. Left Behind did come with The Last of Us Remastered, which was packaged at $60, but also included a remaster of Factions. But Sony is probably just like, fuck it, it's The Last of Us, you'll buy it. And I hate that they are right. But there are some really interesting additions to this game that sound cool and may provide for an even more unique experience compared to the original. They mentioned that they've implemented modernized gameplay, improved controls, and expanded accessibility options into this single-player experience to allow even more individuals to enjoy the game, with effects, exploration, and combat all being enhanced. And Neil also mentioned during Summer Game Fest that the AI is also improved in this version. And this makes me wonder, are they planning to perhaps bring the new movement mechanics that were implemented in The Last of Us Part 2, like the dodge and the prone, into this game? If you look a little further in some of the perks for the digital deluxe edition of this game, it says that there's an explosive arrows gameplay modifier. And if you recall, the first game did not have exploding arrows, but the second one did. And so this perhaps suggests that some of the guns and craftables that we get might be a little different, a little bit more in line with The Last of Us Part 2 and what that game had to offer. It also makes me wonder if certain collectibles and items will be in different parts of the game as compared to the original. And it also makes me wonder what else they may have changed, from maybe the perks that you can update to even the melee weapons you can wield. And has any of the gameplay sections been redesigned? Or perhaps opened up with Naughty Dog's wide linear design philosophy? From the trailer, it does seem pretty faithful to the original, though we've only seen the cutscenes. That doesn't necessarily mean that the spaces in between those cutscenes have to be completely the same, especially with some Part 2 mechanics and guns. You could, at a minimum, open up some new flank paths, but perhaps certain sections could undergo complete redesigns. Some other perks that seem to be available here are weapon skins. So it looks like you'll be able to customize your look even further, down to even the gun that you're wielding. And I'm sure these are going to be some of the first skin additions we get with Factions 2 microtransactions. The pre-order bonuses also show that there will be a speedrun mode, which is new, and of course sounds really fun. But this also makes me wonder, will there be a permadeath mode? Perhaps something even more hardcore than Grounded could come. There's so many questions we still have, even after getting all this info, but we only have a few short months before they actually get answered. And as Neil stated, we'll get more info in the coming months, even before this game releases. But this isn't everything that Naughty Dog revealed at Summer Games Fest. So if you want to see my complete breakdown over the new information we got for Naughty Dog's standalone multiplayer, then you should check this video out. But otherwise, so long, Pooper Troopers.